Sculptor. So I did not grow up in Ireland. I grew up in Vermont primarily, and thinking about what to say today about my work and the process, I went back in time and realized that I've always been making things. And even as a child and into my teens, I made candles, jewelry, some very nice roach clips. Well, I never stopped making things. In college, I majored in political science, and then I became a lawyer working in civil rights, public entitlements, and criminal defense. After that, I settled down and raised a family. About 15 years ago, I began making semi-functional ceramics, and I love the unpredictability of the glazes. This is a Chino glaze that has what they call crawled, which is sort of an accident. Then about 7 years ago, I became interested in heads. They're not any body in particular, but I was always looking for some kind of an expression from them. Clay is a wonderful medium which requires awareness, if anyone's worked with it, because it can be quite liquid and too soft, and then it can get too dry and very brittle. But it's incredibly accessible other than that. I then moved into baby head and moon phase because they seem to have something in common. That's porcelain when it's white, and the brown is just a darker stoneware. And then I started using, you can switch the raku firing method, which, if you haven't had a chance to experience it, it's really a great thing to be so close to the fire and to see how it works its way with the clay. This is still the moon phase. I then moved away from representational pieces to more mystical and mythological pieces. This is Ariel. The next one is Lao Quan. And I forget what's next. Then I got into playing with shapes, geometric and kind of architectonic structural pieces that are not meant to look very balanced. In fact, my nephew, who is an artist, who said he liked the pieces, said they reminded him of elephants at the circus balancing on a little stool. You'll see in the next one. And I've always liked the way the pieces look sturdy, but they're incredibly breakable. Kind of like us, right? Then for the past year, I noticed that my pieces were reflecting the state of the world, really, the unrest, unraveling. And they are torn and unraveling. And they've gotten more abstract. Then over the past few years, I've taken some printmaking classes with Dan Weldon, and I got really into monotypes for the color, for the cleanliness of the edge, and also because by this time my studio, which is our basement, is overrun with three-dimensional clay objects that I've made, and it was great to be able to stack pieces of paper together and not take up any space. And then quite by accident, we can go on to the next one, began noticing things more. I think after the printmaking, actually, using my phone and finding images that I really liked. This is blue ice. This is egg. This is a snow room on a cruise ship from the inside. And the last slide is my desktop. And I use it to show that I have this kind of random, but, sometimes creative thoughts. And my younger son has warned me that this can give you a headache. And that's my presentation.